What's up, everybody? Welcome to the No Scrubs Allowed podcast. We got producer Seal, and we had Coop for a second.
Yep, just ran
Seal,
off.
how you doing, bud?
I'm doing good, bro. I want to shout out to you, man, showing up. I was kind of iffy. You didn't text me back for a good 30 minutes. I remember when we lost it in 2018, the last time we were in it, we were doing those little recaps, and I told you, fuck it. If you don't want to, I really don't fucking want to. So shout out to you for showing up for the podcast and to talk about this buffoonery of a bullshit. We knew it was going to
Uh,
happen tonight. We'll get to that.
well, yeah, we'll talk about a certain particular ref that we all knew what was going to happen. But before we get to that shit, we don't like to say that refs cause games. We don't like to say stuff like that. So let's give a huge shout out to Giannis Antetokounmpo. This man took advantage of every opportunity the ref gave him. He was hitting some free throws, and dude dropped a 50 spot on us, and they needed all 50 of those for him to win.
Yeah, and the fact that he was able to do it at like a 95% clip at the end of it, I think he only missed two.
Yeah, he missed his last one too.
Like 15 to 17 or 15 to 18.
Yeah.
Crazy. Whenever you thought, 2-3 years ago, the Hack a Shack might work on him. And also shout out to him at the end of last year thinking he was going to go somewhere else and actually go win a ring somewhere else because it didn't seem like the Bucks were going to give him anything. He's had Chris for a long ass time, and all they do is just give him washed up people like Brooke and PJ. And hey, shout out to him for bringing it back to get the chip.
So yeah, shout
outs to him.
Shout out to Coach Bud for staying the course, man. He got the shaft every single time. Every year,
to keep putting an ice pack on his asshole for that hot seat he kept getting on.
Yeah, exactly. And stayed the course. They finally gave him a good third person with Drew Holiday, and he proved that he could coach them to a championship. So it's crazy because this game was just Giannis doing Giannis things. That's why I'm not as mad tonight. Game 5 was the game we needed to win, and we didn't do it. I knew when we lost game 5, I was like, we're probably out in 6. But then when I saw Scott Foster was the ref tonight, I said, oh, we're definitely out in 6. And then 19 Giannis free throws later, I was like, oh, yeah, see, we're out.
So. Yeah, it was crazy. And again, to see it was just him. It wasn't really Drew too much. I mean,
Drew was shooting like ass. He was playing defense really well, though. But
Chris showed up, but it was just a lot of Giannis. And in the first half was a lot of bullshit that I felt the Suns were able to overcome and get a lead into the halftime.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, whenever they just were like, fuck it, we're not going to foul them. That's what they needed to do in the third quarter and just start rolling out Frank and saying, hey, bud, you got 6 foul, hit him with a melting treatment.
Yeah.
And put him on the line, but don't let him get any chance of an and one. And if you're going to foul him, chop his fucking elbow, bro. There's fucking ligaments and tendons. Chop his fucking elbow. Don't let him get all these fucking free throws in.
And whatever happened to DeAndre Ayton, man, he faded down the stretch big time. Giannis was getting every offensive rebound that he wanted. Basically, bro. I mean, it was easy that when you miss it, you either get the offensive rebound or they're going to blow a late whistle. So that's the way that Giannis was playing, but it worked out in his favor. So
we thought Ayton was becoming a diamond, but he's still compacting coal. It's still coming into fruition.
Yeah, I guess when teams were just focused on Chris Paul and Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton can look a lot better. But then when they were like, oh, crap, we have to game plan for him a little bit. I honestly don't even remember. Like, I could not pick out a play in the second half with DeAndre Ayton in it. Like, I can't pick out a play of him doing something well. And I looked out in crunch time, and he wasn't even on the floor. Frank was out there. So
his last shot that I can recall was he got it in the low block. And instead of him putting it up, because
he spun outside.
There was nobody in front of him. Giannis was coming from the right. Instead of him putting it up and yamming it and getting the and one, which would have happened, he said, oh, no.
And then done some dumb baby hook thing. Yeah, I remember that shot.
So that was the last thing that I saw from him. But, yeah, it's things like that really make me think that Adam Silver's like, listen, I want you guys to win it, but with funds and stuff, you have to play stupid. I know you've shot over 70% every fucking game of the playoffs, but today you have to go 3 for 12 or whatever.
I don't know what he was doing, but he didn't play like himself. He was a no-show. But I mean, that's what he did at Arizona too. So maybe it's just when the lights are the brightest, he doesn't perform. So That sucks if that's what happens because we've
And
seen
definitely with those early
Luka
fouls
perform.
too, that probably would get into your head a little bit. Already being a little anxious and stuff, and trying to do right, and you're just literally coming up like this, and he comes up into your elbow, so you get the foul, and he's like, "Okay, I can't do anything right." So that just throws him off of his game, and he got what 2, 3 quick ass fouls in the first
Yeah.
half.
And then on the other end, Giannis is getting blocks that were probably goaltending or at least really close. But
Two of them were.
that's the home court call, That
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. But he's also smacking elbows. He's ripping people down. And then on the other end, you can't even graze him or it's a foul. So that's frustrating. So let's talk a little bit about that. We've mentioned it a couple times, but Scott Foster was the ref again, and I think he had 18 free throws tonight. Scott Foster was the ref in game 3. He had 17 free throws. And every other game except for game 1, he had a single digit amount of free throws. Now, this man, I think it's time to crown him as Shaq 2.0. He's the modern day Shaq without a doubt. But how do you ref someone like this? Because you can't just call a foul every time he goes into the basket. LeBron had that same problem. And eventually the NBA just stopped calling it for LeBron.
That's what I would say. Not Shaq 2.0, more LeBron. But what teams used to do back in the day, the Celtics more so than anybody, when he'd go in, they let him go by him and they grab him by his shoulders right here.
Just rip him
They
down.
did that all day long. And if people started doing that to Giannis, he's gonna get scared to go by, a la LeBron. Now he's older. But even on the Cavs, if he didn't have that clear path for the dunk, he was more so taking the step, spinning, and hitting the J. And he learned that post fadeaway type spin J. And because he got sick of getting yanked down, and the same shit would happen with Giannis. But what we saw out of him tonight, that motherfucker's gonna get that in his bag in this offseason. So
he was hitting some shots though. He was definitely stepping up.
He really definitely was. But if teams are able to do to him what teams did to LeBron, he's going to start thinking twice about doing that. Because right now, all you have to do is put your hands up and go a little bit in and bump him bump you on the way up.
Right.
And you're getting up, and that's not worthy of a foul. Make that shit worth him going to the line, bro. There's fucking 12 of us on here for a reason. Put Torrey Craig in there for more than 3 minutes and be like, yo, you got 6 fouls. Let's get it.
Torrey Craig, he got hit hard too. I mean, he was playing in the earlier rounds. This round, whatever it was, and we know he's not really a great player. He's not that amazing. He was playing above his pay grade for the first couple series, but it's weird how the shift happened. And Payne came out and played better, but Cam Johnson was not good. Mikal Bridges was not good. Jay Crowder.
I think the size factor, whenever Cam shifted to the 3 more so, Cam Johnson, that is. That kind of messed with him a little bit, having to be on the perimeter guarding a big guy like Chris Middleton. He should have been on Giannis, but he was getting stuck on Chris a lot, and that kind of tweaked him a little bit being on the perimeter, I feel like.
Yeah, probably. I mean, he wasn't playing well. None of our role players were playing well. And really, even the first 2 games, they weren't playing amazing. It was the big 3. They were playing great in the first 3 games. And then when the big 3 didn't play well, the role players didn't step up. You mentioned it. Jay Crowder was just too much of a focal point of our offense. But it's hard because Drew Holiday was guarding one of the 2 guys, and PJ Tucker was switching onto the other one. And it's tough. I mean, I would think personally that Booker and Paul could get around PJ Tucker, but they weren't showing it. They weren't able to get around him.
I was very pissed off in this game that Book was hesitant on the 3. He got switched off onto Giannis a lot, and he'd hit the jab and would step back, and instead of shooting that fast 3 that we've become to know him to do in the regular season a lot, especially 2 years ago, that motherfucker became known as a 3-point shooter off of that quick trigger. I mean, it's a lot longer than Steph's is, so it's not as fast as Steph's, but he gets where he wants to go. He jumps high as fuck in the air, and he gets his 3 off. And he had so many opportunities to do that tonight, but instead he went in, tried to draw the foul a couple times, didn't get it, tried to hit his floater game, tried to pop back with a mid-range that hit a couple different times, bounced off a couple times. But a good 5-6 times that I saw in the second quarter and the second half that he could have hit a 3, at least attempt to hit a 3, and he put it down, reset, and ended up driving it.
No, this man at a very very different level. And Steele's about to laugh because he actually knew me as a kid, but on a very different level because he's a professional and I suck at basketball. But he's going through the same thing that I went through. When I was a little kid, I was the white boy that just shoots threes, and I finally learned how to dribble, and I never shot another three again, and I sucked. That's what Booker's going through. He was just the shooter. He was just the scorer. He's learned how to dribble. He's learned how to not turn the ball over. He makes good passes, and now he's forgotten what got him to this point in the first place, and that's shooting. He's a shooter. He's a 70-point scorer in the NBA. Like, he needs to shoot. He needs to score. Jay Crowder should not have the most three-point attempts on a basketball team that has Devin Booker on it. Period.
No, and the fact that Jay Crowder was looking for more shots on the perimeter than Devin is, that's a problem any given day of the week. Even if it's a preseason game, that's when Monty needs to bench Jay. At the end of the game, needs to call a team fucking meeting and say, I don't know what you guys have been going on in the offseason, but this shit ain't working. For that to be happening in the clutch game of the season, to get the finals to go back home to win a game 7, for that to happen, and Monty on that one possession where he missed the three, somebody got the rebound, brought it back out to him, and he immediately jacked up another three and missed it. That's when Monty needs to pull him out of the game and say, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, but you're not fucking doing that. It's not going to fucking happen. You swing it out. You find the other man because you're not the fucking man that's going to be shooting all
and
these
he was
threes.
missing wide open threes too.
Dude,
today.
Wide open threes. He's flat-footed with them, and it's all practice shots to him. Even when he has somebody on him, it's when somebody's on him that he actually levitates and elevates and gets the fuck up off the fucking ground and makes the shot. Otherwise, he's always short or he's always right. Every fucking time. He's a fucking trash donkey and sucks. Can't say it with him right next to me. But I can say the F word all day long.
Yeah, no, you've said a lot of things. But so let's think moving forward. The Bucks are going to be totally fine. They have one of the top 3 players in the NBA, and he's not going anywhere. What do the Suns do? Because Booker is not yet. Booker's not on the LeBron, Giannis, KD, Anthony Davis sort of level. So what do the Suns do moving forward? Obviously, you keep Booker, but where do you go from here? Because teams don't seem to win without that level of top 5 guy.
You hope you can keep Chris Paul. You can hope you can keep Cam Payton's going to be around a minute. Cam Johnson's going to be around a minute. You hope you can keep Miles. But if you can't keep Miles, and if you can, cool. But with my plan, Mr. Miles Bridges is going to the second rotation and really going to boost this team because Brandon Ingram's going to come out the 3 guard and really be able to do work. And if the Bucks want to make the finals next year, if KD and the Nets want to make the finals next year, that's cool. We got a lengthy-ass 3 guard down here, so that's going to guard whoever the fuck you want to pull.
Is he a free agent?
I don't know.
Or do they have to trade for him?
That's just my play. Yeah, trade, free agency, whatever it is, do whatever you can to get this guy because I think Brandon Ingram would be a great fit for this team if we're able to bring the majority, the starting lineup back, all of even if Miles has to transition over and not take a lot of money to stay on this team and really go get a chip. That would really bring this team another gear up just on the defensive side of things from what we saw in this finals because you cannot have Jay Crowder trying to guard Giannis. I don't know why they were doing that and putting Cam Johnson on Chris Middleton. I mean, Jay Crowder really can't guard Chris either. But Cam has a way better chance to keep when Jay couldn't do it, let's put Ayton there, and Ayton put too much space to give him enough to act like he had a bag. That was the funniest thing this whole finals. Was whenever he acted like he had a bag and didn't go anywhere with his crossovers. He literally stayed in the same freaking spot every single time. But you have to get up on him. Make him decide if he's going to put your back to him or he's going to try to get around you. But you can't let him get any kind of head of steam because he's learned now. It's not 5 years ago. It's not 4 years ago. He's 8 years into the league now. He's learned what to do. And you can't give him any kind of head of steam whatsoever or he's going to eat us up like he did.
Yeah, what I would have done, and obviously revisionist history, hindsight's 2020. But after halftime, I would have said Drew Holiday is ass this game. He is shooting brick city. Let him build us a house, and let's just put 2 people on Giannis. I wouldn't have cared if Drew Holiday walked down with literally nobody on him. I would have given him the just back all the way up to the free throw line and just let him try to shoot. Over letting Giannis get 50 points because he couldn't hit. And I know he hit in game 5. He was the reason they won game 5. I get all that. But he was back to his normal self tonight, and I would have just let him try. it looked like they took the approach of let Giannis beat us, don't let anybody else beat us, and Giannis stepped up to the challenge. And again, that's why we shouted him out first off. But after the about midway through the third quarter, when Giannis already had like 20 points in the quarter, I would have said, all right, like our plan's not working. He can beat us by himself. Let's change up the plan. And they didn't change up the plan.
Yeah, and that, but along with you have to put pressure on him. They didn't put pressure on him the whole series, and he was able to get fouls. And Monty has to know, like he's a study of the game. CP3 is a study of the game. Right when they see Foster's in there, they have to know, dude. They really have to know and really plan against that. They had a 3-4 hour notice. They actually probably knew this morning when they woke up. They probably got a list of the refs, and then they publicly put it out around 2. So it's you can't go back and fix things like you said. It is what it is, but it sucks that there seems to be ways that things could have went differently that could have involved a game 7. But even then, who knows? A lot of this postseason really didn't rely on the home court.
So it's weird because I don't. Yeah, what's up?
Real quick, what Phoenix needs to do next time they get in the finals, I don't know what's up with their downtown area or what, but Toronto put a fucking park out, had Drake sitting up there on the damn side up on a little ledge and a big old canopy, and they had the screen up in front of them and all that stuff. They had like 15, 20,000 people out there.
Right.
Bucks had 65. The Suns need to put a damn park out and have people watch the game.
They don't have the ability to have 65,000, but yeah, they definitely need to have something out there going on. No, I was going to say, like, so I don't know how the NBA does it with their refs. And obviously, Scott Foster's a proven ref. He's ref finals many times. But when in soccer, when people have beef with the ref, like real beef, they don't ref their playoff games. They'll go ref a different game. And like, I just don't understand because I've seen, I think like Landon Donovan or somebody had real beef with somebody and they would make him ref other playoff games and they wouldn't ref just because, like, just to stay above board. Like, not that they're trying to blame either person of anything, but when things start to get that heated that they are with Chris Paul and Scott Foster, you just got to say like, hey, let's just take that out of the equation because it's always going to be a talking point now. Any game that he refs with Chris Paul is a talking point. So take that talking point away if you're the NBA. That's my opinion.
I'm thinking all the Banana Boat boys. He doesn't really get along with any of the Banana Boat. Doesn't favor LeBron. I think he's teched and ejected Carmelo a number of times. I just don't think he likes the Banana Boat boys. I don't know what it is about that draft class. But yeah, I think that would be good. But there's not, I mean, in soccer, there's so many refs that get so much action and get so much experience. It's not the same in the NBA. The NBA is the cream of the crop. And there's only so many refs, really.
And there's 7 games that they have to get through. So
yeah. So I mean, maybe the entrance into the finals be a little more lax and let newcomers in, so there isn't so much bias. I mean, these guys who do it all the time, they really get their own game going. So maybe throw in these new guys who have 5-6 post-series experiences and only done one finals, or get all these guys who haven't had any finals experience. You got to start somewhere. Get all these guys to get all these first finals going, and let's see this. I really wish they would. Not even that. I don't give a damn if it's Scott Foster every game, and the old dude who looks like the pug dog from Men in Black. But just they need to go in and say, guys, listen, basketball, everybody's complaining throughout the game. At the end of it, at the end of 7 games, there's going to be a winner, but everybody's complaining all the time, and it has to do with officiating. Just put the whistles down. If they start fighting each other, call a tech. But put the whistles down, let them play basketball, and don't give them a reason to complain about us.
Yeah, it's hard because I don't like complaining about refs. We've done it most of this podcast and the last few weeks. But
remember the days when we would complain about the refs letting it go too far?
Exactly.
That hasn't happened in years.
Yeah, I don't want the game to be decided on free throw line. And luckily for Giannis, he hit him. I mean, if he even shot 50% like he normally was throughout the playoffs, they wouldn't have won this game. So again, it comes down to the players, but nobody wants a slow game. People don't want baseball. People are mad at baseball. They don't want to watch baseball. Why are we turning basketball into baseball? It's really annoying. Jeff Van Gundy, not my favorite person, but he has said many times the last 5 minutes of basketball is agony because it takes an hour and it's hard and they stop every single play to review it. So like something's got to give. They got to bring back the speed of the old days.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. Postseason, especially regular season, doesn't really matter so much, and you don't see it too much. Seems like the regular season's more trading for the refs to get ready for
Yeah.
the postseason. But even then, it's just the same bullshit that you see through and throughout with them. And yeah, that's I agree with you. If they just need to, I feel like for the next 2 3, what we got actually starts in September this year.
Yeah, it's right around the corner.
Let's go. Yeah. So for the next month and a half, just have them watch 90s basketball and not say, let's do this. Say, this is how we need to play the game, how we need to call the game. But it's so different. The skills are different. So in this sense, no, don't call that foul. We need to call that foul. So kind of fix it, but keep it how it used to be, because how it used to be was amazing. And 10 years ago, that's how it used to be in the playoffs. But it's just a completely different game. Like you said, it's became a fucking tennis match of who can get the refs whistles more.
Right. And what I'm a little scared of is that Giannis is going to start getting the Shaq and LeBron treatment, to where whoever in the NBA officials sits down and says you can't do that again, and he's going to end up getting no calls. And we've seen it with Shaq where nobody ever blew a whistle because he's too strong. We've seen it with LeBron later in his career where people stopped blowing the whistle, and that's why he steps back and shoots threes now.
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen with Giannis eventually, where they're going to go, listen, we don't know how to ref this guy. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's faster. You could call a travel on every single step he takes because it looks like everybody else is jumping.
So, dude.
So
that was even a little bit of a late whistle tonight with that travel, and I was like, okay. I was about to say
he walked all the way to half court before
I was literally about to be like, hey, Google, what's the address to the NBA offices, and write a very nice letter to them.
Yeah, so we'll see how they start to officiate him moving forward, but he's definitely the next era of that, like not understanding how to ref somebody. So it's kind of exciting to see how that's going to go on. But I'm excited for the Suns. We weren't even supposed to be here, so it's exciting that we flipped the script that quickly. 8-0 in the bubble turned into the number 2 seed, turned into an NBA Finals berth, and we are still years away from where we're supposed to be. So if Chris Paul comes back, we'll be right back at it again next year. I hope he continues to stay hungry. Booker's going to stay hungry. We know him. We know his attitude. So hopefully Ayton figures it out.
This is legit how I looked at that 2014 team coming into 2015 with the Cavs. 2013 coming to 2014 with the Cavs, knowing we had that centerpiece in LeBron. Book's not LeBron, but Book's somebody who's going to get interest in people coming there, especially with Ayton, especially with Monty. If they can get CP3 balled in, which Monty is the guy that's going to, where the fuck else is he going to go? The Lakers don't want him. He doesn't really want to go back into the East. So he's good in Phoenix. I think he'll be fine there for the rest of his career, which could be another 2 or 3 years. So they're going to be able to get that thing going. It's just if he's going to start getting that star treatment that he really hasn't gotten when it comes to the court, and we'll see. I don't know what the heck this kid's doing over here.
He's like doing shadow puppets.
Yeah, I'm sitting here trying to focus, and I see him on the screen every time I look up. But yeah, it's really going to mirror the Cavs, and I can see you guys in 2 or 3 of the next 5 championships, if not the next 5, and just run the West, because it seems like the West is really top heavy, and the way they're so strenuous with most of the teams. The Suns don't really have one certain person. They have a 3-headed monster, and they can go to anybody from top to bottom. And the Suns have Donovan Mitchell. And the Nuggets have fucking the Jamal, who keeps getting hurt, and the Joker, who just can't really seem to get it together in the postseason. He won't be able to
carry a team.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just really the Suns to lose for the next couple of years, and we'll see what happens. And they have a guy in Book who's really going to get some attention and get some free agents to want to come over there and try to get a ring.
Yeah. If you take any fan, literally any Suns fan, at the beginning of the season, you could have told them, hey, you guys will be in that little play-in tournament and try to get 7 or 8 seed, and they'll say, yes, thank you. Give me all of that. So everything that was above just making the playoffs is icing on the cake. But when you make it that close, obviously you want to win. So it's bitter. But when you think back on the goals that we had before the season, I'm ultimately happy, and I hope we just continue to improve. And that first championship for Phoenix is going to come sooner rather than later. I think it's with this core group. I think they'll
For
find
sure.
one.
Before we turn the page on this finals, you're not upset or mad at me or hold any weight against me for getting this hat and not waiting on the golden one, right?
It's you're not a true fan. Like you're not like a Phoenix fan, so no, it's
Yeah.
not as big of a deal.
All right. All right.
You just thought it was a cool hat. If you were a Suns fan, like a super Suns fan, and you did that, then yeah, I did that with the Dodgers in 2017. I went and bought the pennant right after they made it to the World Series. I was so excited, and we know what happened. It went really south. So I don't do that anymore.
All right, and I know not to. I don't do that either. That's why you don't see me with the 2016 or 2017 or 15. I don't have any joining the finals hats. I have my one 2016, so I'm the same way. I just thought about it the other day, and I was like, bro, if he thinks I cursed them, I'm so
I
sorry.
don't buy any champagne until the day it's over. Like I literally, because I want to pop champagne as soon as we clinch, but I will not buy champagne before it's official. So like I buy it like the day of whatever the clinching game is, and I hide it in the back of my shit. And I'm like, I didn't get that. It's like in the building, like how they have the Louis Vuitton
Yeah.
case in the building. I'm like,
Yeah.
it wasn't me. I keep it in the bag. I don't even take it out the bag. It just goes straight to the back, so that it's just in the building, but it ain't mine yet. And so that's how I do it. But so yeah, if you were a Suns fan, I would have been pretty upset, but it's all good. It's a nice hat. At least it looks good. Now I can go get that hat and be proud of my team.
Yeah, and you definitely should be, man. It's like you said, a quick turnaround, and the future is very bright in Phoenix. And it's you got to feel like the Bucks were kind of owed it, right? For Giannis to stay,
I'm really happy for you.
Chris
Like,
to stay, for them to get PJ and PJ to mesh well, for
yeah,
them to be able to sign Drew, not sign Drew, but trade for Drew and get all that shit going. It was a match, man.
Giannis
It
is
really
pretty
turned
much
out to
my
be good for
favorite
them.
non-Suns player, and he was a few years back. He was my favorite non-Suns player. So it's like it sucks to lose, but to lose to a guy that you like if we would have lost to James Harden, I would have just flipped. We would not be
Yeah.
recording tonight if James Harden dropped a 50 spot on me for to send me home. I would not have been happy. But I love Giannis. It's hard to hate Giannis. He's one of the best ones the games has from on and off the court. So I'm excited that it was his.
Yeah. Yeah, they were definitely owed it. I mean, it sucks that it happened against your team. You would definitely want it to be you guys, but yeah, you can't be mad. It's not 2015 Kevin Love getting his arm broken by Olynyk and the bullshit ass Warriors getting a fucking ring.
Right, exactly. It's not that. I'm happy for Giannis, but now he's got his one. He doesn't need to run back to back like he did MVPs. Let's move into the wayside and get it done.
Yeah.
So let's shift a little bit. We don't have a lot of other sports. Oh, you got one more basketball thing?
No, you can keep
Oh, you're
talking,
changing.
but
All right.
while you're talking, we're gonna take one more fucking shot for the Suns, man.
Oh, okay. So we're shifting gears a little bit, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the Gold Cup because there's not much going on. There's no tennis. Tennis is done. We're gonna talk about the Olympics in a second because it's starting up. But before we shift into the Gold Cup, I'm just gonna take a shot of my beer because that's what I have. But
All right, cheers, bro.
cheers to the Suns.
We'll see
Good
the
season.
NBA in another couple months. Shout out to the Suns. Shout out to the Bucks. Shout out to all the fans. Love the fans.
Shout out to Adam Silver on those freaking post game things.
Bro.
He's hilarious.
There's no way. Like, so I used to think that this guy had cue cards and stuff, right? Or there was
No,
somebody
he just
there.
goes
Tonight, shout out to the Bucks, bro. All their guys that were actually able to just bum rush. I've
Yep.
never seen anything like that in the NBA. So many people on the court to where they had to get security to just get a little
rope
probably
thing.
12-foot circle going on for them to do the presentation, and then just everything was just there. So man, shout out to the fans, shout out to basketball. I'll see you in a couple months. I love you. I'm gonna miss you.
Yes, sir.
Here's to you. I should have had you shout out some apple juice or something.
So let's talk real quickly about the Gold Cup. This is kind of the USA's test, if you will, but obviously nobody cares. If you win the Gold Cup and miss out on the World Cup, then nobody gives a shit. But this is kind of our best case scenario. Mexico is the only good team that we face, and we luckily won our division thing, our group. So we won't face Mexico until it's the finals. And every analyst that's anybody says we're going to face Mexico in the finals, just from the sheer fact of you're not a huge soccer fan. I mean, you like soccer and you picked up soccer a lot more recently, but as a team that missed the World Cup last year, do you think it would be a big boost to soccer to win the Gold Cup this year, to beat Mexico, and really not even have, we don't have Dest, we don't have Reina, we don't have Pulisic, we don't have any of those guys. So
yeah, so is this cup more of like the younger squads, like the 19U kind of squads, or is this like
yes
our
and
B
no.
team?
It's supposed to be our A team, but like this is the Copa America. This is the Copa America for us. Whereas like that Argentina just won the Copa America, the Euros that just happened. This is our Euros. It's just that the CONCACAF is shit. Nobody gives a crap.
Yeah.
So when Pulisic gets asked, he's gonna go, I'll save myself for the World Cup qualifiers. If it wasn't a World Cup year, he would be there. But he's not going to come try to get injured when the World Cup qualifiers are right around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, what I was alluded to is because like usually our younger cats, they usually just run shit when it comes to facing all of Canada, Mexico, anything that has to do with anywhere around here. We kind of have problems against Argentina, which who the fuck doesn't? Right. But USA really runs shit when it comes to our side of the globe. So if it was them, yeah, I'd be confident. But I mean, the other day we were able to get it off at the end, barely. So we have the grit to get it done, and that's what I always look for in a team is the grit and the grind, and really able to mentally block all the bullshit that comes with the emotions of really representing your country and anything that has to do with it. So yeah, he's bored of soccer already, but but yeah, I have confidence in us. We're really getting warmed up, like you said, for the World Cup. So I think we're really trying to put teams on notice that we're kind of getting up to the women's side of things here in America.
Yeah, it's nice because I think we're going to lose to Mexico. I do. I think Mexico is the better team when we don't have our guys.
That sounded good, though.
I mean, Mexico is just a better team, and they have their A team out there right now. So it's not really, it shouldn't be. But if we can find a way to upset, then that would be huge. But just to get that sort of experience in the Gold Cup, we should make it to the finals. As long as we make it to the finals and get these young guys a competitive game against the Mexican A team, we're gonna really put some fear in whatever group we get to. Our group is always the group of death. It seems like in the World Cup. I think it's because we're the best shitty team. So I think, but when we get our stars, man, I think we're a real force. I think we can get out of the World Cup, but we got to make it there first. But the rest of the teams don't really look good. I mean, Italy won Euros and they definitely didn't look like the best team. Belgium obviously didn't look like the best team.
England's
Spain,
old.
England, Brazil.
England is old. That's what I really like about America coming up, bro. The next 10, 15 years for America are going to be really good on the men's side. I mean,
all the superstars in every other team are basically on their last legs.
Yeah.
And you got Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar, all those guys. Yeah.
4 years ago, we were talking about the 18U team, and that was Christian Pulisic, just whatever the fuck his last name is, just running cats. And now he's older, and now we have our 19U team just running cats. So, like, the future's bright for America, man. I can't wait for it. Like, we're used to having the random one or two guys every, like, 5-6 years and hoping them two guys can get along and get us something in the World Cup and get us some kind of medal somewhere and do something good. And it happens once every blue moon. But, hey, this is going to be the start of something great for a decade to come for sure.
I agree. We're going to have probably 3 World Cups with these kids. So if next year is not the year that we dominate, it's going to be 2 cycles from now. Yeah. So what is that? 30 or 28 or whatever when it is in America.
That makes me feel really old.
When it is in America, I think it's 2028 and in LA, that's when we need to show out for our home state. So we're working at it. And I agree with you. We're going to be there. The big guys from the other teams are going to be gone, and they'll reload. They're the best teams for a reason, but I think we'll be up there near them. But let's talk about something that as of Tuesday night at 10 o'clock p.m. Western time, the Olympics are still on. Don't quote me on this. Tomorrow morning when you're listening to this, it might not be on. But the Olympics are on right now, and they're set for this weekend. There's already been 71 cases of COVID in the athletes' village over there in Tokyo. So
Well,
we just
it's
got to play it
crazy.
by ear. But
So that area that they're in Tokyo, they've been getting like 30,000 new cases a day,
yeah,
which is insane. And it's the COVID and this like COVID X strain bullshit that's coming to
and
kick
it's
us in the
vaccinated
ass.
people getting like COVID. It's
because it's a completely different strain of COVID. It's so weird, and it's literally like some mad scientist is in the lab and like, oh, you all came together to stop the last one. Watch this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it's just crazy. So yeah, we've had a blind and deaf swimmer who can't have her physical care assistant there to help her even get around to places that she doesn't know about. So she had to pull out. We already addressed the fact that people can't have their peoples with them. So now people are over there training. Garrett's just left, I think. And yeah, we'll see how it goes, dude. And then this is just the Americans that we know about who are vaccinated. And who knows what other countries don't have to be. I don't know if the Olympics came together as a whole.
I'm sure the Olympic Committee requires it, but
you have to think that there's the countries that don't have any resources to this stuff too.
Yeah.
And so, and are they going to be skeptic of getting it? So who knows? And that has to, it's a crazy fucking thing that's going on. And I feel like Tokyo kind of hid this shit a little bit, and they're like, oh, this is just not happening. Like, we've had surges going on for the last couple of weeks too, a little bit,
right?
But not 50,000 a day.
Tokyo has a lot of people. Has a lot of people, and especially when the Olympics are coming. But hopefully it's still going to be on. I want to watch Olympics. I still want to watch Olympics. I don't care if it's all alternates because everybody else is sick. I want to watch these people compete.
I don't give a. They better put the decathletes in a fucking bubble. That's all I give a damn about. I don't care about people being fast in the pool or people that be able to shoot a basketball.
I don't care about the basketball. I like to watch
hit a shit ton of hit some hurdles, hit some javelins, hit some fucking pole vaults all at the same time. And at the end of it, run a shit ton. That's what I care about this year. I want to see the next Bruce Jenner.
I care about all of it, and I hope that Garrett's not the next Bruce Jenner.
Me neither.
He would not make a very attractive woman.
That's rude.
Maybe. Does he have any sisters? Can we compare anything?
No, off the record. Never mind.
You can't say off the record while you're on air. But yeah, so hopefully the Olympics last. If so, we will be talking about them a lot moving forward, at least until football happens. The opening ceremonies are Friday. Check them out. If you wake up bright and early, you can watch them at 4:30 a.m. Western time or Pacific time, so 7:30 Seal time. If not, you can watch them 12 hours later at a normal time at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. So I love the opening ceremonies. I just like seeing people walk around with the flags from all the countries. You can see how happy those people are. They're crying just to be there. It's super exciting.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite part because I really don't get into too much of it. I mean, I will this year, but the summer Olympics are really just more so who do we have in swimming that's going to kill it, and basketball. So that's
I like track, man. Track is always fun.
It's just
we don't always win because Jamaica exists, but it's fun to watch.
I don't know. It's just I don't know. That's you. That's not me. But I love hurdles. Hurdles are my thing. I like
hurdles. That one girl that broke the world record hurdling.
The hurdles are fun to me, but no, just the start of it, the opening ceremonies, like you said, seeing all these people who we know people just like them who really train their ass off. They're just not on that elite peak, and they're just so happy to be there. Like I said earlier, the smaller countries and stuff like that. It's just a once in a lifetime opportunity for them. There's always 2 or 3 countries who are first times or have been there for
Yeah.
the first time in 20 years. And for them to, it's like 5 or 6 of them. There's always like 2 or 3 of them,
Yeah.
and they're always fucking so happy, crying, holding the flag. That's the best night for me. And just to see what the country, Rio killed it. They
Yeah.
absolutely killed it. So just to see what the country does as a whole for the opening is always fun to me. The USA always seems to take the traditional route. Rio definitely took the vibrant route. So we'll see what Tokyo is able to do in this madness that they're
They'll
having.
do some sort of technological shit where they don't have anybody, but it's all just
A
like this.
drone show.
Yeah, it's gonna be something crazy though.
That a drone show would be fucking epic.
It's gonna be something cool. But we'll talk about that as it goes along. Hopefully, with swimming, we always end up winning. With gymnastics, we always end up winning, and we always win the Olympic. I'm jinxing myself now,
I
but
mean,
we always win the Summer Olympics.
I'm off Saturday, bro. So maybe we'll give the audience a little extra content.
Maybe. But the winter Olympics is the one that we sometimes lose to Russia in the medal count. So Summer Olympics we don't ever lose. We only lose in winter if they cheat, but that's another story. We're not in the Winter Olympics. But what else do we have? Do we want to talk about Aaron Rodgers, or do we even care?
No, let's talk about that a little bit for real. So it seems like one, they were able to get in contact with him. So that whole being lost in space and doing what he does and growing his hair out and just being skinny as shit, they're able to contact him. They offered him a 2-year extension to not only make him the highest paid quarterback, not only the highest paid cornerback, which seems to be the position right now. No,
Right.
it would be the highest paid NFL player of all time. A 2-year extension. It's not like the 10-year, $500 million fucking contract for Patrick that was given. No, the highest paid player over the next 2 years would be Aaron Rodgers. And he said, nah, I'm good. That is insane.
That means he does not like Green Bay. He was saying this. He said this for years, and he keeps coming back and playing for them, winning MVPs, getting to the conference finals.
But the fact that he loves Matt LaFleur, bro, he's come out in this offseason and says he loves Matt. It's not Matt. It's not the coaches. It's the organization.
Yeah.
And what organization do they really have? Like, it's weird. And like Green Bay is the weirdest organization.
He doesn't like the ownership group, which is the fans, I guess. It's so weird.
It's like it's the most political team to play for. It's an appointed group of boards. It's weird. It's weird. If you own season tickets to that team, which hasn't been offered in fucking ages, then you own a stake in that company
part of the team.
and you vote for a board of people, and that board of people never come through for the team because they get paid to be on the board. So it's a weird thing to be a part of, and I feel like any organization other than the Packers that drafted Aaron Rodgers would never have to deal with this because the fucking Robert Krafts, the Shad Khans, the whoever the fuck owns the Bucks. Oh yeah, isn't this weird? The Bucks won championships this year.
That's true. That's pretty cool.
That's awesome. But they would never let this type of thing happen. But when they're looking at their pocket, and we've seen so much besides linemen on the Packers getting paid, they hold their money in their pockets.
So what do you think happens with Aaron Rodgers? He turned down this huge extension. Do you think he just forfeits $22 million?
No.
And goes to host Jeopardy? Does he play for the Packers, or do they actually trade him? Those are the only 3 options.
He plays out his contract and he leaves.
Because he's got one more. Like, this is his last year, right?
Yeah.
And if he skips it, he loses $22 million. That's a lot of money.
$22 million. He loses a year. He's going to be, 38 when he returns next year.
And he can win the MVP again for sure.
And he can win a ring.
Yeah.
Like, they can win a ring. They can take him seriously and really make moves this year. They didn't make bad draft picks this past season, so he could win a ring this year. He could tell Jordan Love to sit the fuck down, and like it's wide open. They have to beat you guys. The Rams are rebuilding. They're trying to scare people with Matt Stafford.
The Rams lost their kicker though. They're done now.
Yeah, and who was it? Y'all's kicker?
I don't know.
No, the Falcons kicker. I knew it was y'all's division. The Falcons kicker. Somebody stole his Jeep and he lost all his kicking cleats.
He like took the Instagram.
And he tweeted. He's like, bro, can you just please bring me my cleats? I don't even give a fuck about the Jeep. Just bring me my cleats so I can keep kicking.
Oh, one thing I did want to bring up. Did you see what Cam Jordan said about Kyle Pitts?
No.
He said, and I quote, "He's a little flat in the butt to be a tight end. Somebody line him up against me as like another blocker, and I'll show you that he's not worth that money."
Can we show him tape against South Carolina against the guy that got drafted in the 3rd round at defensive
just
end when he
saying.
fucking pancaked his ass?
Cam Jordan is
Bro.
ready to run over Kyle Pitts.
Tell him to stop being a little fruity and looking at his ass and look a little bit lower at his thighs and see how fucking gigantuan they are. And dude, Pitts that's what I love about, he gets low as fuck when he's out there. And he pancaked the fuck out of that South Carolina dude like twice.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny because he said he's a little too flat in the butt to be a tight end.
And dude, on the Falcons, he's gonna line up maybe 1 or 2 times a game and
he's not
push
gonna
off and go out. They have too many
big
big guys over there in Atlanta for him to have to worry. That's just Cam trying to get attention. He's like 39 years old, trying to keep a little bit of publicity going.
Yeah, and the Saints are gonna be trash this year, and he knows it. So, all right, what else do we got to shout out before we get out of here?
Oh man, Essendon.
Essendon, yeah, they're trying. They're in the playoff hunt. I haven't been watching, but I checked the standings earlier this week.
Yeah, we were in the playoff hunt this time last year, and we ended up like second to last place in the fucking league.
Yeah, we're always second to last place in the league. So, shout out to Coop. He's hung strong. He's
he's still here,
still making faces, doing shadow puppets or whatever.
Hasn't heard a word. Everything's coming through here. I didn't put it to go through both.
So he's a real trooper then. If he's sticking it out, just sitting in silence. If you guys are watching on YouTube, you get to see Seal's kid. We talk about his family a lot, and this is the one with the awesome birthday thing that we shouted out. A few weeks back.
He is the one that's famous in Palaca. This is him.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, hopefully the Olympics go on. Shout out to all these Olympic athletes. We continue to just be in awe of the dedication and the drive and the hope that you guys have to spend 4 years training for one particular weekend. And I just hope that this weekend works out for you. But a shout out to all those guys in Tokyo, the workers, the employees, the medical staffs, all these people that are trying to get this thing to continue running. It's really a dedication that they've been able to push. So what's up? Yeah.
He's going to say the ending.
All right. And so I'm really excited to watch these Olympics, and I just hope it happens. All right. So Coop, take us out of this.
Be a stud, not a scrub.
Hey-o!